Our second speaker this morning is Mike Slattery. Mike will be working on project number 2 from the Technical Presentation Manual. He's requesting that the audience be the board of directors of the Granite Insurance Company, who will be presenting his idea to the board to get their permission to pursue his idea to completion. The speech will be 13 to 15 minutes with a 3 to 5 minute Q&A at the end of the session. Please join with me in welcoming Mike Slattery.
Good morning, board.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
In 1978, the auto collision industry and the auto insurance industry was topsy-turvy. And the reason being was because of the influx of all of the unibody cars that were being manufactured in America, Asia, and Korea. Now, why is that? Well, the reason being is because in the auto collision industry, nobody had to work on a unibody car. So the auto insurance industry totaled the cars because they weren't repaired correctly. This brought the rates sky high, as you know. You were involved in that, and you know what happened as far as your rates were concerned. Then in 1980, a company out of Chicago, which was called CCC, which was a software company, created a computerized collision repair program for the market so that the cars could be repaired correctly and the insurance industry could control the rates. Now what happened, CCC took that program and brought it to California first because it was the mecca of collision repair. Now you have to understand, all of the industries at that time, all of the body shops were mom and pop shops. They wrote estimates by hand, and they tried to get as much money from the insurance business by padding the estimates. This program stopped that. So guess what? None of the body shops wanted to buy the program. So CCC has spent so much money on this program, they weren't going to give up. So they went to our industry and said, hey, look, here's a way that you can now control the cost of what you're paying out to have those cars fixed. Well, obviously, the management of most of the insurance companies decided, hey, that's not a bad idea. So they purchased it. Now, they had a way in order to tell the owners, managers, and estimators of the body shop what they're going to pay, and they could justify it by this program. Well, the auto body industry at that time had to eat crow, and they accepted it. But our industry said our costs are still too much. So at that point in time, it was about 1985, we created the DRP program, which is a direct repair program. That's what we have here at Granite. And what that stands for those of you on the board that aren't in the industry, direct repair program, where we dictate to the auto body industry what we're going to pay for their labor rate and how much discount we want on the parts that they buy. And by doing so, if we can get a contract with that body shop, we can then tell them we will send you business and guarantee you a certain profit. Our costs went down. So we were able to begin to control our costs and our rates to the public. Well, a fellow right here in California by the name of Jack Faluca owned a company called Rialto Auto Body, and he said, hey, if I can get more than one shop that I own, I can create more volume. And he created Caliber Collision. Caliber Collision then grew. And all of the Caliber Collision shops are what they call, again, DRPs. So that meant that they were being paid, but not as much as an independent shop, because they agreed to cut the price on labor rate and cut the price on parts. Now, that became a big part of the auto collision industry today. And there are a lot of franchises. If you go down on Main Street today and you go by First Certified Collision, they own 7 shops. And they're all trying to jump aboard the train. But the reason that I bring this up and give you a bit of the history is because there are 4 major franchises in the United States, and they do $4 billion in business. $4 billion in collision. That means that income comes from our industry, from us. They have an infrastructure that works. So my proposal at this time is to purchase one of those franchises. Because if we do that, for example, let's use Caliber. That means, if you take a look at my handout, that we can lower our loss ratio 25 to 40%. Because we are not going to be paying any profit on parts. We're buying our parts at cost. And the only thing we are paying now is for the labor that's done. We're buying our paint supplies, our paper supplies, all of the supplies that we need at cost. We are not paying that body shop or that collision shop for their profit. It's now ours. So because we do this, that means we increase our gross revenue, we cut our costs, and we can now become a bigger player in the auto insurance business because we can cut our rates. We probably wouldn't even need to use a little lizard to run around, or some gal that's all made up to tell us what we can pay for our insurance. Our prices will dictate the clientele. Our gross revenue, again, will increase because the other companies, until they jump on board, buy some of the other franchises perhaps, after they see what we do, would then be able to compete with us. So Granite Insurance will go from being the 28th, 29th largest insurance company to probably number 2 or 3. We will be greater and have more income than State Farm, Farmers, and Allstate probably put together. Now you think about that. Because what happens when we create a lower premium for the drivers, what do? Even if they get involved in crashes, what happens is that we then repair the car at cost. Now, not only can we do that, we will also be able to clean out the redundant employees. Employees, perhaps, like adjusters that we pay. Because the Caliber collision type franchises already have adjusters they're the ones that estimate the repair. So our employee costs should go down. Overall, this is a great idea, and I know some of you may believe or think that you can't, an insurance company cannot own body shops. I've heard that from a lot of different owners of body shops and insurance employees. Malarkey. I've spoken with the Department of Insurance right here in California, and there is no rule, no law whatsoever that says an insurance company cannot purchase a body shop. Now, the reason we didn't do it in the past is because if we did that, we'd have to start a whole new business. But you must understand, that has already been taken care of by Caliber Collision, ABRN, Fix-It, some of the other major franchises in the auto collision business. So what I'm asking for today is your permission as the board. I have already for your permission as a board to go ahead and spend another 2 months, perhaps 3 months, and put together the actual figures as to where we would be over the next 5 years. I've already talked to Jay Andrews, the owner of Caliber, and he would entertain an offer from Granite Insurance. So what I want to do from you, if you are willing to someone make a proposal and ask, give me that time to come up with the figures. If I can do that, I believe we will become one of the best, most innovative insurance companies there are here in the United States. Now, are there any questions? Tom?
Do you see government control having an issue and you're being able to do this in terms of the people with a car, I think in California, have a choice of where they go. And so if you own the company, they may choose, I'm not sure that I trust the insurance company's ownership of this company. I'm going to make sure I really check other places, like just going to the Chevrolet dealer.
Absolutely, a great question. I've thought about that, and you're saying is very true. We would not change that. We would not change that. You can go anywhere you want. The key is, if you come to our shop, or we wouldn't change the Caliber Collision name, it would just be under our umbrella. You go there, first of all, there is no waiting for an adjuster from the insurance company to come out and okay an estimate on your car. You bring your car in, we write it up, we fix it, you take it down the road. If you go to another shop, what happens is they write an estimate, they have to call us, we then have to send out an adjuster. The adjuster has to go over the estimate. That's time consuming, probably a week, maybe a week and a half, depending on how busy we are. Once we come to an agreement, then the same process occurs. Your car will get fixed, we will pay the insurance company, or we will pay the body shop, and you'll be on your way. So there's no difference. Your choice is still yours. The key that I'm saying is because we then have the control of what you say when you call and say, or one of our agents calls and says, hey, there's an accident, and what do? Then we just say, hey, you can go to one of our shops. We don't even have to say it. Go to Caliber Collision or go wherever you want. So that will not change. So that's not going to have any problem whatsoever with the Department of Insurance.
By saying if you go to Caliber, you'll get a car to use, and you'll get it returned faster.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Susan?
There is no doubt that we are outstanding in the insurance industry. That is what we know, we're good at it. Are you at all concerned about the fact that we don't know squat about running a collision repair center?
That's my whole point. Excellent question. The point is, over the years, this Caliber Collision and the other franchises have already put together programs that run the body shop. So the body shop in California is run the same way as it is in Texas. All of the infrastructure for what you're talking about of running and managing that body shop is going to be run the same way as it was when there was a franchise owner. Same thing. That's the beauty of what's happened over these years and why I gave you a rundown on the timeline. Because now, if I owned a body shop and wanted to retire or wanted to get out of it, I would call Caliber Collision and I would say, hey, listen, I want to sell my shop. I have, 10 employees and whatever it is, and they would come out and make you think, when we consummate the deal, then what would happen, they would come in with their management company, change the whole process, and go on. So we, as an insurance company, won't have to do that. That's already been taken care of. We're buying that technology and that management system that does $2.5 billion. Now, if you take a third of that, that's going to be our profit. That's going to be our profit. Can you imagine how the stockholders are going to feel when they take a look at their either dividends or their income from that? Oh my goodness. They'll be on the president will be on the cover of Time magazine. Any other questions?
I have one.
Go ahead, Marie.
How is the general public going to accept the big boys? It sounds reminiscent of what's going on in the medical industry. You go to who they say in order to get the care that you hope you will get, and if you step out of it, you pretty much have it out of pocket. So how do you overcome the individuals who will actually purchase our insurance policy?
You don't have to worry about that. It's going to be the same. We're not making any changes whatsoever in that area. So you still have the choice of purchasing from us, Granite Insurance, Allstate, Geico, any of those. You purchase from them, and you go and you do what they would say. So if you happen to purchase a Geico policy and they say you go to ABC Auto Body, that's our recommendation, but you can go to anywhere. Then you can go to ABC. It's the same question basically that Tom had. We're not changing anything. What we're doing is we're buying the technology, we're buying the infrastructure, and we're buying the profit of that company to come to Granite. Come to Granite. With that, I know I have to leave. I hope someone makes a proposal that they will give me the additional time to go ahead and bring the actual figures here. Like I say, I've already talked to Jay. He is willing to entertain an offer. We can become one of the best, most profitable insurance companies in the United States or perhaps the world. Madam Clerk.